Today is April 20th, and this is Football's Remarkable. Hello and welcome to the fifth episode of this season's podcast, Football's Remarkable. I am your host Devang Pandey. Today, we will be talking about Eusebio da Silva Ferreira. Famous for his speed, technique, athleticism, and his ferocious right footed shot, he got the nickname of the Black Panther. This Mozambican born Portuguese footballer, who played as a striker, is considered one of the greatest footballers of all time and Benfica's greatest ever player. But before that, some important updates from the world of football in our first segment, Football Weekly Update. The second leg of the Champions League quarter-final gave club football some amazing performances and unexpected results. After scoring a hat-trick in the first leg, Karim Benzema's goal in the second leg helped Spanish club Real Madrid pull two goals to secure a 5-4 aggregate win despite a 3-2 loss against Chelsea at the Bernabeu Stadium. Villarreal stunned Bayern Munich after the second leg ended in a 1-1 draw, which saw Villarreal entering the semi-finals after 16 years. The second leg match between Benfica and Liverpool resulted in a 3-3 draw, and Liverpool advanced to the semi-finals on an aggregate score of 6-4. The match between Atletico and Manchester City ended in a goalless draw, which resulted in Manchester City advancing to the semi-finals on an aggregate 1-0. Ukraine's delayed World Cup qualification playoff semi-final against Scotland has been arranged for June 1. Colombian former international midfield star Freddy Rincon died on April 12th, aged 55, of injuries he sustained in a traffic accident. Barcelona exited the Europa League after losing to Frankfurt in the quarter-finals, and Chelsea and Liverpool will face each other in the FA Cup finals. Those were the major happenings from the week. Now let's move to our next segment, Football's Memorable. Born in Lorenzo Marques, Mozambique, Eusebio was the first major player from the African continent. Eusebio began his career playing in the Sporting Club de Lourenço Marques in what was then the Portuguese territory of Mozambique. The Lisbon-based club Benfica signed Eusebio upon his arrival in Portugal in 1960. The 1961 European Cup final was held at the Van Gogh Stadium, Bern, on 31st May 1961 and contested by Portuguese side Benfica against Spanish side Barcelona. This was the first final not to include Real Madrid, who had won the previous 5 finals. Benfica lifted the trophy for the first time, beating Barcelona 3-2. Benfica also became the first club apart from Real Madrid to win the European Cup. In an exhibition match against Santos FC, a sensational second half hat-trick by Eusebio for Benfica made headlines. Although Benfica lost 6-3, Eusebio's performance confirmed the young talent as a rising star. In the following season, he scored 12 goals in 17 league matches, and even though the club finished third, they won the Taça de Portugal against Vitória de Setúbal, with Eusebio scoring 2 goals in the final. In that same season, Benfica faced Real Madrid in the European Cup final. Real Madrid had phenomenal players like Di Stefano and Puskás. Benfica became the first club to defeat Real Madrid in the finals by a score of 5 goals to 3, in which Eusebio scored 2 goals. With Eusebio's scoring ability, Benfica won consecutive league titles between 1963 and 65. Eusebio was also named the European Footballer of the Year in 1965. The 1963 European Cup final was a football match between Milan and Benfica, held at Wembley Stadium, London, on 22nd May 1963. Milan won the match by a score of 2 goals to 1, winning the European Cup for the first time. The 1965 European Cup final was the final match of the 1964-65 European Cup, the 10th season of Europe's premier football club tournament organized by UEFA. It was played at the San Siro in Milan, Italy, between Italian side Inter Milan and Portuguese side Benfica. Inter Milan won the match by a score of 1-0. In the 1966 World Cup in England, Portugal had a tough experience but managed to beat Hungary 3 goals to 1, the defending champions Brazil 3 goals to 1 where Eusebio scored 2 goals, and Bulgaria 3-0 to finish first in their group. In the quarter-final match against North Korea, Portugal went 3-0 down, but a brilliant hat-trick and a penalty from Eusebio held Portugal in a 5-3 comeback and advanced to the semi-finals. In the semi-finals, Portugal faced England. Nobby Stiles was tasked to mark Eusebio, which reduced the chances of a Portuguese offence. 2 goals from Bobby Charlton gave England the lead. Eusebio scored a penalty, but the World Cup journey was over for Portugal. Portugal finished at the 3rd position in the tournament. Eusebio finished as the tournament's top scorer with 9 goals and put Portugal on world football map. In club football, Eusebio continued scoring and was instrumental in Benfica's success. In 1962 and 66, and in 68, he was the winner of the Golden Boot Award as Europe's leading scorer, a feat he repeated 5 years later. The 1968 European Cup final was the final match of the 1967-68 European Cup, the premier club football competition in Europe. It was played at Wembley Stadium in London, England, on 29th May 1968 and contested by Benfica of Portugal and Manchester United of England in front of a crowd of 92,225. Manchester United won the match by a score of 4 goals to 1. After 15 years with Benfica, Eusebio went to North America. He had instant success playing in Boston. He then moved to Canada where he captained Toronto Metros Croatia in 1976 to win the North American Soccer League NASL title. He retired in 1978 due to a long-term knee injury. Eusebio scored 473 goals in 440 official matches for Benfica, including 317 goals in 301 Primera Liga matches and 59 goals in 78 matches of UEFA club competitions. Overall, he scored 727 goals in 715 matches wearing Benfica's jersey. He helped Benfica to win 11 Primera Liga, 5 Portuguese Cup, 1 European Cup, and helped Benfica to appear in 3 European Cup finals. For Portuguese national team, Eusebio scored 41 goals in 64 matches. Eusebio died at his home on 5th January 2014 of heart failure, aged 71. That was our show. Thank you very much for listening. See you next week. Goodbye.